Hello and welcome to the second Tomb Raider Underworld podcast. This is Keir in Eidos HQ in London, and I have Eric, Rob and Pat with me over in Crystal in California. Hi guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Thanks very much for taking the time to do the podcast. If you just want to introduce yourself to all the listeners and tell them your name and what you do on Underworld.
This is Eric Lindstrom, Creative Director.
This is Rob Pavey. I'm the lead programmer.
And this is Patrick Sirk. I'm the Environment Art Director.
Cool. So we'll go on to our first question, and that's, could you talk about what your main goals were for Tomb Raider Underworld and how you set about making them possible?
Well, we've talked about this before. The most direct answer is we wanted to make it a hugely epic experience compared to what has been done in the past, but also compared to anything else that people have ever seen before. And a lot of what Rob and Pat are here to talk about are the different ways that we could make that experience as lush and rich and epic as possible.
Yeah, we knew going in that we wanted to really take advantage of the next-gen hardware on this game. We'd done some of that on the 360 version of Legend, but as we were starting a game from scratch for next-gen, we could take advantage of it a lot more. So that was certainly a large part of my focus, and I worked with Pat a lot on coming up with how we would take advantage of next gen to make the game look amazing.
Yeah, part of that was rebuilding the engine from scratch, designed specifically for next-gen content. Much of the content was based on location shooting around the world, Southeast Asia and southern Mexico. We also really wanted to integrate all the next-gen features. We didn't want to emphasize one particular aspect, for example, normal mapping or specularity. We wanted to balance the whole visual presentation into a nice, cohesive look.
A common feature you see on games that are pushing the envelope are they find a new technology and they just overuse it. When the first time you get really good bump maps, suddenly all the characters have deeply eroded and lined faces, and finally we get dynamic lights and everyone turns their lights on. And it was always important from the very beginning that the showcase was the experience and the environment, not any particular tool. So one of the things that's been really important has been to take all these tools but to use them in subtle and interesting ways to make a rich environment, not to showcase the technology itself.
How did you research the levels?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of work up front in deciding what the locations were going to be, both from a mythological and from an experiential standpoint. And then we did a lot of research on the local mythologies, all of the story arc intersections of the places. And then once we had that sorted, it was a matter of bringing those to life. And Pat mentioned research trips, and he can talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, we went down to the Yucatan, was our first location shoot, and myself and Scott Anderson, another artist on the team, flew down with some high-end cameras, and we took about 10,000 reference shots around the Mayan ruins in Yucatan Peninsula. Most of the shots were taken with the idea that we'd be creating game content out of them. So the photography has played a key role in really getting a quality, high-fidelity look and a sense of believability. It's paid off immensely for us. And thereafter, based on the success of our first photo shoot, I flew to Southeast Asia to shoot architecture in that location in the jungles of in and around Angkor Wat. And again, I came back with many images that my artists could utilize and create game assets out of, and it's paid off immensely.